the DV8 Shootout was the first event of my junior gold trip. I went minus 59 for the 4 games. I still managed to cash $45 in brackets for that block specifically, and I ended up getting plus more for the finish for that block, which wasn't a bad start to the week. I threw the ball really well, just couldn't figure out the long pattern, and had a pretty low game for the first game on a long pattern. But I ended up bowling 2 more squads at the DV8 Shootout, which I'll talk about more coming up. Now we roll into the Youth Open Championships, where I started off with the doubles event, bowling alongside my good friend Maxwell Benware. I ended up shooting a 632, max through a 715 series, which ended up catapulting us into 6th for the doubles portion of the Youth Open Championships, which was my personal best finish so far, which I'm very happy with. In singles, I followed it up with a 663 immediately after the doubles event, which put me into the cashing spot, which I'm super happy with, because that is also my best singles finish in the Youth Open Championships to date. The next morning we had the team event, where I ended up shooting a 610 that left me at plus 105 for the 9 games of the event, which was by far my best finish in the Youth Open Championships to date. This left me feeling super confident with my game hitting into the main event, and we ended up as a team cashing for the whole event for that block. And I ended up bowling with EJ Tabor, Maxwell Benware, Braden Cassidy, and myself, which was a great team, but surprisingly, the B team ended up beating us out, and they ended up finishing 4th, so huge congratulations to them. I'm very happy with my performance in this event, as it was my best performance to date. Now we're rolling into my second block of the DV8 Shootout. I ended up going plus 60 for this event, and it put me up into, I believe, between 7th and 11th place. I don't remember the exact place exactly, but I made a huge adjustment in the long pattern, and shot a couple big games with surprisingly 170. So I could have definitely placed top 3 if I didn't have said 170, but it is what it is. You got to deal with the cards you were dealt. I ended up bowling in this squad with a bunch of my close hometown friends, which was a lot of fun. I just have a lot of fun in this event every year. Now we're rolling into my first block of junior gold competition, where I ended up going plus 65 on a really difficult pattern. And I threw the ball really well, and I made a ton of spares during this block, which gave me a huge confidence booster going into the following blocks, and even some of the tougher patterns for the rest of the week. So it was a great confidence booster and a great showing of my physical. Now we roll into my second block of junior gold. For block 2, I ended up going plus 39, which puts me at 104 over through the first 8 games of qualifying. I started with a 191 and a 224. Did a really rough pair, and I shot a 157. It was the best I could grind it out for. I ended up bouncing back with a huge 267 to close the block out. I missed a few spares early on, but I ended up making the right adjustment to the pattern, and I went 100% on makeables for the rest of the block, which I'm super proud of. Now we roll into a 3, which I ended up not getting any videos for, but it is what it is. I went plus 40 and stayed consistent throughout the block, getting most of my spares. Then we roll into day 4, and I finished plus 40 on a really easy pattern. I just could not find the right ball reaction at all. It is what it is. I went 157 in game 3, and I shot at 259 in the last game. That ended up plus 40, which I'm super happy about bouncing back for. And that ended up rapidly qualifying up at 184 over through 16 games. And I was super happy where I was sitting, because I was sitting in 46 going into first advance the following day. Now the clips that are playing right now are my third squad at DV8. I ended up going like plus 26, nothing special. It ended up being my third and final squad of the DV8 event. I just bowled it after the third day just to get a little bit more practice in, which unfortunately didn't translate into second or first advancers. But it is what it is. So now we end up rolling into first advancers, where my junior gold run ended up finishing. I started the day off with a 140. I ended up going minus 6 for the back 4. It wasn't enough given the pattern. The pattern was really easy. I just couldn't find a way in the first game, but it is what it is. I ended up dropping from 46 to 76 overall on 1,400 kids. Nothing to be mad about. I ended up, out of 1,400 kids, that's a great finish, especially with 2 top 100 finishes in the last year. I ended up finishing at 118 over through the 21 games of junior gold, which isn't bad. I was about 180 over, but it is what it is. I'm still very proud with how I finished, even though it's not the result I ended up wanting. But there's always more to come in the future, and just a big shout out and congratulations to everybody who made it to second finish, to be honest, especially to Maxwell Benware and Sean Buck, because they ended up going into match play, and my friend Max ended up finishing 4th this year, just shy of the DV show. And it's just a huge amount of respect I have for him and his physical game, because he is a great. And same with Sean Buck. Sean Buck ended up finishing 14th, and I've been going with him for years. He was even on a couple of my teams in the past, so it was great to see my good friend succeed. That ended up wrapping up my 5 trip. I ended up cashing every event that I won, every single DV8 squad, every single DV8 squad, and every. Looks like right now we're just running up the rest of the game. There already is an Instagram reel on my Instagram page at Check that out if you want to find out more. Senior season. So thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of your day.